Welcome to section 8, and in this particular section we're going to extend our API now. We don't have much data to work with, and that changes in this section. So what we're going to take a look at in this section is we're going to implement further functionality into our API, and along the way we're going to gain more of an understanding of entity framework relationships. At the moment we don't have any relationships in our database. All we've got is flat tables, and just one of them. So that's going to change in this section. We're also going to further look at entity framework conventions. When we do start adding relationships into our database, then entity framework is smart enough, and if we use its conventions, then we can get entity framework to figure out what the relationships in the database should be, and it's going to create the foreign keys that it needs to create the relationship between one table and another. In order to get some data into our database, we're going to take a look at how we can seed some data into the database, and we're going to take a look at the lazy developer way of doing so. And what we'll also take a look at in this section is an architecture pattern called the repository pattern. And this gives us a way of abstracting what we're doing away from our data context or our DB context class. And we'll take a look at that and why we're going to use it. And what we're also going to introduce in this section as well is a utility called AutoMapper. As we start building out our entity, and we don't want to send our entities directly back to the client, then we need to map the properties from one to another. So what we'll introduce in this section as well is a tool called AutoMapper that helps us map one property to another. And that's all coming up in this section.